Alright then, let's get this show on the road. So, hello again, welcome everyone to another Jurassic June 30 Days of Dinosaurs, a Spoke Today broadcast. So hopefully, today, what we will be covering, I should have sat at this desk for a little more. We will be covering today the resculpt of the stegosaur into the plateosaur. So, as usual, we need to take off all the excess that we don't need. So, I was going to go for a carnivore today, but then with the poll for tomorrow's dino sculpt being due for tomorrow, I decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the carnivore tomorrow. So all the previous carnivores that never got through in the past 3 weeks, I've lumped together into one poll this time. And if you haven't voted yet, if you go onto my Twitter feed, if you look for Mike Farm on Twitter, you'll be able to see the poll. I think it may be about 2 or 3 tweets down from the top. And you can have your say on whether you want me to sculpt the Monolophosaurus, the Dilophosaurus, the Ceratosaurus, or the mystery dinosaur. And I won't tell you what the mystery dinosaur is yet until the event is over. So you've got about 24 hours on that, so it should be finished by about midday tomorrow UK time. Greenwich Mean Time, whichever you prefer to use. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be a good showcase of it. At the moment, I think it's the Dilophosaur that's winning at the moment, which is not surprising because I think Dilophosaur from Jurassic Park kind of goes hand in hand with the pop culture of dinosaurs now. I think prior to Jurassic Park, it was one of those moderately unknown dinosaurs. And then due to the film, it shot up in popularity. So, hopefully, this is going to come out quite nicely. If you're not familiar with the skull of the plateosaur, it's quite unique in that it has a very similar shape to how the earlier dinosaur skulls used to be portrayed, especially the plant eaters, where they have kind of like this swooping down jaw. In fact, I think the early iguanodon sketches had very similar sort of like swooping down jawline. So luckily, I had to incorporate that in. The eye on this guy is more or less the same size as what I've used with the stegosaur, so I don't have to replace that, which is good. I might have to change the position depending on how I get this jawline looking, but that shouldn't be a problem. And possibly have to do a lot of resculpting on this ear section on the ear canal, because that wasn't as pronounced as what it was in the stegosaur. Although there's one interesting thing I've noticed looking at the skull of this guy. Since getting more into my animation and kind of working out the mechanics of a jaw opening to make sure that the armature inside would open correctly. Looking at this jaw of the plateosaur, it has a jaw mechanic that's very similar to what I originally would come up with for the armature designs. What I would do is, normally, if you can imagine your jawline being here, most jaws are fixated here at the base of the skull, so that when the jaw opens, it swings from this pendulum point. But on the plateosaur, the jaw actually sweeps down here, and the jaw is open, and the pendulum is down in what effectively would be the bottom of the lower jaw. So when it opens its mouth, what ends up happening is the the jaw tip ends up opening further than the top jaw. So if you open your own jaw, it tends to stay flush to the top jaw. But on these guys, it looks like what happens is it actually swings forward. So it's interesting to make a note of that for future creature designs. Because I've always been under the impression that the jaws have opened similar to how most mammals do, as I say, with the pivot being in the base of the skull. And by the looks of most dinosaur skulls later on in the Jurassic and the Cretaceous, it does appear like that sort of thing happens. But you can be surprised. Right, so what I'm going to try and do is, let's see, so the snout doesn't appear to come out so far, so I'm going to bring that nose down a tiny bit. And what I'm trying to do here is build up its lower jaw, but we need to incorporate that swing. So I don't know if I'm going to gradually build it up yet, or whether I'm going to just stick a lump on and see how it goes. Hopefully. But if you're not overly familiar with which dinosaur Platosaur is, it's one of the first herbivores to evolve in the Triassic that is technically a true dinosaur. I can't remember their geological location. I want to say these guys were African, but I might be wrong. I probably am wrong. Double checking myself. I will have a look. Hello, viewer. If you're able to message me in the group chat, feel free to do so. Platosaur, where art thou, Platosaur? Here we go. So, Platosaur is Germany. Okay, so I wasn't too far off. Probably a bit more north than the equator. But, oh, okay. Yeah, so these guys were from Germany area. If there's a Germany here, I'll be very worried. So, yes, what Joe wants to do now. Not too far off from that. Tip of the jaw, the chin, if you will, needs to be a bit further down. It's almost like it's almost like someone's just literally venting the oven. The best way to describe it. It's got that naturally. It looks like it's escalating up from the bottom of the jaw, progressing to the snout. And what happens is it literally just bows at the very tip. It bows quite sharply. It's on a slight gradual. It's not coming up far now to the end of June, which is sad in some ways because I've actually enjoyed doing this. It's kept me on my toes with me sculpting, which is good. Although these are only sketches, it's still nice to kind of like do this. Swoops and not too dissimilar to what I've been doing with the sauropods, but it's flipped, it's swooping down at the back. I did see someone's posting about it in the hashtag for Jurassic June, where they show their illustrations for these theories that are going around at the moment, that dinosaurs had lips, and most theropods were feathered and such. And he's added an interesting thing on the mouths, which I know he says they look a bit weird, but in some ways it kind of makes sense. But at the same time, again, it's up to artistic interpretation. As any what I've been doing is artistic interpretation. What he's done is, if you were to look at, say, birds, in particular eagles, for example, they have this on the back of their mouths, when they have their beaks closed, they have this fleshy lip, if you will. So it's almost like it's just like a string of flesh going around the line of the mouth. And what he's done is he's taken that and added it to all the theropods that he's been drawing. And at first glance, it does look a bit weird, but then when you kind of think about where he's coming from with it, it starts to kind of look right. I mean, he does openly admit, I think, in one of the pictures that he's probably overpronounced it a bit too much. But the actual idea itself is actually not that bad. Which I kind of thought of it. But yeah, it's very intriguing. It's a novel idea. And, I wonder if it will take on if more people start to see it. Yeah, so I'm going to hazard a guess. Cheeks on this guy might not be as pronounced. Most of the ear canal looks like, well, that's where the muscle may have been, so the muscle might have been more inside the skull rather than outside, like a mammal's. So I don't think I'm going to put too much of a cheek on this guy. Again, with a sketch, it's a concept, so it doesn't have to be just enough that I go through scopes these things. Change your mind if I wanted to add more, take off more. So, what I'm going to try and do with this guy as well, I've done it on heard before now. Try and sculpt skull cavity. Most of the dinosaurs that I've been doing have been hadrosaurs and sauropods, ceratops. And although they do have that feature in their skulls, I haven't really sculpted it in at all. Mainly because I think it's in some aspects it looks very cliche, and I know that's probably not the right way to think about paleo artists, but especially for a sketch, you want to kind of like broaden your mindset a little bit and just think about, what would it look like without it for change. Better, does it look worse? I'm not happy with Google Hangouts is that you don't get a wide audience. When I was on Periscope, I was getting like 150 odd people a day. I think on last count from yesterday's video, I got 16. It's almost like on Periscope, regardless of whether people have an interest or not, people are more curious. We've got a lot of questions on Periscope. And a lot of people, although they weren't really into their dinosaurs, they were into their art and they were curious about the material I'm using to sculpting techniques. So where was the best place to go to get educated was one of the weirdest questions I ever thought. Google, YouTube, it's people aren't looking. I wish Periscope would pull the finger out and get on with this so-called investigation of theirs. So why my stuff is flagged for inappropriate content? Because unless someone's got a problem with hands or clay, let's see them happy. I'll let you see them. Ideally, I want to try and get back on Periscope before the 29th. Special sculpting in mind. A special sketch, say. Say sketch. Sculpt. So I'm going to give this guy probably some reasonably fat lips. When these guys evolved, they were more or less just starting out on refining those evolutionary advantages they had over the mammal reptiles that were dominating prior to the Triassic. So I think one of the advantages of being this guy is that, yeah, fairly thick lips. He was probably able to be desensitized to most of the vegetation that was growing. Similar to kind of like how giraffes navigate through the thorns and what vegetation they want to get at their lips, as far as I can remember, don't have any nerves, so they can get pricked to within an inch of their life and they won't be able to feel it. It's either that or it's because the material that they're made of is quite coarse and quite rough. So just a few thorns isn't going to be able to penetrate. And the other interesting thing with the plesiosaur's teeth is they're quite simple, very, I mean, not simple, so some of the sauropod are basically pegs, but in terms of what was kind of out there already, most herbivores had I remember had like an omnivorous diet. These guys had interesting set of dentures that I don't think many other herbivores had at that time, unless, of course, fossil record isn't always 100% accurate. Well, it's not 100% accurate. There's probably only like a small percentage of animals that have actually been fossilized over millions of years of their existence. And not everything's going to fossilize into the right conditions, the right area, and the right salinity in order to do stuff for fossilization. It's commonplace. So I should be able to this group. Oh, that's better. Ooh. Oh, getting a little bit warm. Oh, that's better. It's surprising where I'm in the UK, even though we're kind of like, we're not as far south as London and we're not as up north as Scotland, but here, I know my American friends are complaining a lot about the heat, but cripes, it's not exactly cool here either. So, yeah, just orient it all out. So if you're not aware, this will probably be posted on YouTube before the voting's finished. Apparently, we've got a lot of things going on in the news called the UK referendum, the European referendum. Sorry, I apologise. I'm not one for politics, but the things that I've been seeing in the news and on the programmes of various MPs arguing for and against why we should leave the EU. It's been pretty ridiculous. For you guys that are curious, I'm staying in the EU. I look at the EU as just kind of like a cultural stance in what the EU has to offer the UK in terms of trade, but also in terms of we're a small island surrounded by many people, countries. I personally think we should stay. It's safety in numbers, as they say, and also we're a lone island. Everyone keeps harping on about this, but But what about the terrorists? What about the terrorists? Well, if you're a lone island on Todd, who are you going to rely on then to forward you information that some person's coming over to blow up such a building or such an area? All this argument seems to be over at the moment is how the UK can take control of its money again, and how do we stop people coming to the UK for immigration, which I think personally is disgusting, because not only are you stopping people that are running from some seriously messed up problems in their home countries, but also the door swings both ways, because if they can't come in, we can't go out. People seem to have forgotten, if you want to go somewhere at the moment, you have what they call Freedom of Movement Act. You can just go anywhere in the countries within the EU on one passport. Whereas if you wanted to go anywhere and we left, you would have to have a different set of paperwork, I believe, for every continent you went to. Which, to me, is more bother than it's worth. I don't go on holiday very much, because to be frank, I'm not, well, me and my girlfriend aren't exactly rolling in it. Nor are we one for just going out to all the popular holiday destinations. We prefer to go places that are of interest to us in terms of like sightseeing or culture. You're never going to go to somewhere, say, like Paris. We did that once. Never do it again. It's just nothing but hassle and aggravation. It's mainly because of the transport links, because we don't drive, so we have to rely on public transport. But take us to one of their country areas, in south of France, with the wineries. Oh, that was really nice. I enjoyed that. And Annecy as well. I enjoyed Annecy. It's a nice, quiet town, city. We enjoyed that. So, yeah, take it out the EU and bang goes on. One thing I did, we were watching the referendum debates last night, and there was a woman, I can't remember what she was from now, but she was talking about that her and her colleagues, I've noticed there's no kind of like cultural supporters in the government in the UK. So they have to have their attention turned in the EU. So she basically asked, if we left, what's going to be the deal with the culture, sustaining the culture of the UK? And one of the campaigners in the Leave group shouted back, we're talking about security and all you're bothered about is your music career. And I was absolutely mortified. Not only did she respond with that as her answer, but that she didn't even get the point. This person was asking, if we come out of the EU, what are we going to have to replace the culture that we'll be losing in the arts and theatre and music, everything. And this is what annoys me with people that don't understand creativity. They see it as a quick cash scheme, and that's not the case at all. People do this because they love it, not because they want to be on top of the pops for 10 minutes. But would probably explain why we've been suffering really badly with, say, Eurovision for the past God knows how many years. And that's probably all down to the fact of because people aren't putting in the effort for Eurovision. It goes to other countries that actually do give a monkeys about their culture. So I don't want to have it too pronounced, like it's a conflict natives. I think that's where I went slightly wrong with that. It became too pronounced, it was too much. It's just like a shallow indentation, and the shadow that falls on it will do the talking for me. I've been selling off some of my alien collection off lately to try and fund some of the work that I've been doing. My girlfriend has said that she's more than happy to kind of like help me out with finances as best as she possibly can, but I don't want to be draining her too much money. So I just self me alien dog alien resin kit from, I think it was Hyloco, I think it's pronounced. I forget what it's called. I've had that probably maybe about 2005, 2006 when I first got it. So like that, probably about 10 years now. And what the plan was is that I was going to get two kits. I got one kit for display, and then another kit that I was going to assemble, but not prior to me actually casting the individual components and then making a stop motion puppet of the dog alien, but customize it to be some of my own creation. And unfortunately, the project's never really taken off, but in some ways I'm actually quite glad that someone bought it for me. Not only now is it going to someone that actually wants to assemble it and build it into paint it up as a kit, but someone's pretty good at it. He showed me one of his other pieces of work. It's pretty damn good. It was very detailed. I don't know how big the actual bust was, but I would imagine looking at the paint job, it's relatively small. Maybe about just a bit bigger than the mixing out of my phone. We'll see. We'll let you know when it's got it. Updating the photos of it is finished. But he's dead chuffed that it's a kit that's not been opened up or anything. He's been after something like that for a while. He's talking. Someone's bought it for the right price. There's been many people that have tried to haggle me down for it because apparently dog alien's not that popular. So they'll buy it off me for a $5 and what have you. I think as long as you have the patience to stick to your guns, as long as you're not being stupid with the price. And I thought selling a kit off for £30 was a decent price for a kit. And I've seen some kits on eBay that are the more popular ones, like the dropship and the APC and things that go for like hundreds of pounds, if not more. So yeah, I'm quite glad that someone's bought it at a reasonable price. Tried to haggle me down even further. I'm trying to explain to people that all this money that I'm selling it for is going towards a project. Sometimes you met with people that just kind of like give you a one-sided answer of we'll get a job. Well, you give me money to do this stuff, it will be a job. Right, so I think that's about right for the captain. I'll probably stretch it out a bit more, but see how it goes. Alright, so I'll get some nostrils in there, I think. So these are displayed. It's triangular points. So, and I can imagine as well that these would have been probably relatively wide as well. It would be really nice actually if they found the head on that mummified hadrosaur found a few years back. Because that would have been interesting to see how these things may have had their faces designed. It was always great to know that the discs in the spine would have only been so far apart, which is, in theory, has now elongated many dinosaurs by a good couple of feet. But the things like the muscle structure in the stomach, various sort of internal organs sort of fossilized. It is interesting to know that, you know, this particular hadrosaur had various things. I think they had skin impressions in there as well. The only thing I kind of wish that they had, like I said, is that I wish they had the skull. Excuse me. Yeah, I just kind of wish they had the skull. We should see the details like the eyes and the ears and the nose, things like that. Unless, of course, they have got it, and I've just not found that part of the report. I just remember seeing the initial body. We found the part of the crocodile with that as well as the hadrosaur's various torso. I think an arm as well. It's not too much of the shape of the snout on this. So as I was saying before, it's coming up to the end of Jurassic June, and someone messaged me the other day asking if I could do a particular sculpture for the last day, which does sound interesting. Right? It has kind of like piqued my interest. I'm just not 100% sure whether I could do it, mainly because doing dinosaurs the way I have been doing for the past couple of weeks now, it gives me a bit of artistic license, as I say, but it also is a comfort for me to do something like this. I don't feel like I've got a restraint in, if this doesn't look like a Platosaurus. As long as I label it as a Platosaurus, people will accept that it's a Platosaurus, that they can have their own visions. Whereas this other thing, if I label it as the title of what this would be, people have got many references in mind to say, no, it's not, because this isn't what it looks like. So I don't know. I'm in two minds whether to do it or not. Part of me wants to do it because it's a challenge and it's not something I haven't not sculpted before, but at the same time, it did take me a very long time to do the version of the sculpt in question. So it's not a quick job by any shape of means. And that's what worries me a little bit, that these are something I can do in a day. Whereas something like that, it might look absolutely god awful. So who knows? Maybe I will, maybe I won't. It's all in the see, this is one thing I do must with Periscope as well, is that they didn't have any license issues, from what I can tell anyway, about playing music live. Whereas YouTube likes you immediately. So any chance of people viewing this video, it would basically turn around and say that you're not licensed for playing this music, so therefore you're not going to make any money on it. Which is fine, you know. I don't make these videos to make money, but it would be nice to have, say, some kind of income from them. Maybe next year I'll figure something out where I do something. Right, so let's have a look at the skull. So I think that's probably the best thing I can do for the cavity and the snout. But looking at the shape of the skull, I need to kind of change this brow crest slightly. It wasn't swooping like it does on most dinosaurs. It seems to be something like almost like a frown, if you will. Stretch over. One thing that's always kind of like made me a bit curious with these Jurassic animals is this more or less where feathers started to come out in evolution of theropods. Because what I watched a documentary a while ago, what it was saying was effectively that the hair that we have is a type of modified scale that our early mammalian ancestors evolved prior to the Triassic. So you got me wondering, is the feather theory almost like a rival evolution to the same situation? The hair that evolved on mammals was to help aspire, to allow the heat to escape the body. So look at that. The same case with early proto feathers, you know, these the quills and I think the barbs and whatever that were coming out afterwards. It's interesting to think though that, you know, something that you just take for granted on a daily basis, irritation and what people tend to try and shave as much of as possible, is actually something that was born out of necessity. Small this up. What I'm not doing. Just soften up. And while I'm softening, I'm going to have a quick nosy at these notifications. I agree with that. So it's the current vote. So Dialogue still in the lead, 50%, 25% for Monolophosaur, 13% for Ceratosaur, so he's finally got a vote, and 12% of the Mystery Dino. So we're slowly getting up speed on that. When I did the one last week, that was an absolute blowout with the conflict Nethus. That was ridiculous. Delete that one. Delete that one. What's a message? Oh, well, I've sort of no idea what's up with me at the moment. Bloody knackered. Barely felt like I've slept. What was I doing? Oh, nice. No, I wasn't. I was in the crest. Wow. A little bit too close to the camera. doing a little video with Jurassic collectibles on YouTube in the next couple of days, fingers crossed. Just waiting for him to free himself up with work later. I can imagine as well that with the little girl and his wife as well, it's Father's Day probably being around later is taking precedent. So hopefully, if there's anything to report on that, I'll do a little post on Twitter or Facebook. Yeah, the browse looking a lot better now. There we go. That's better. So, let's just pop this in. No. Excuse me. Oh, I do apologise. I feel this is starting to get a little bit too soft. Let's try and invest in a small tabletop freezer just to be able to work with something like this and be able to just put it in somewhere chilled just for say 5 or 10 minutes just to cool it down again and then get back and start sculpting. I know a lot of people tend to avoid trying picking up their sculptures to just try and work off a round table, but when you're working on a small thing like this, I find it's just easy just to kind of like do the playground. Oh heavens, sorry. Oh, yes. Maybe I've got strength on this. So, difficult behind the eye socket and the skull. So I'm going to hazard that's might be where the bone tissue was connected. Muscle tissue. Gosh. That's absolutely wrong. lid. I'm going to go for another drink at this rate. I've also no idea what's just come over me. Almost feels like, the best way to describe it is that I've just hit the wall and that my whole body's just wanting to go to sleep. So no problem this past couple of days. And getting enough sleep and drinking it up. Very, very weird. Oh, that makes me chuckle. The scowl of unimpressed. It's one thing I am going to try and learn after Jurassic June, because I do like the sort of like the looks that I do give these eyes. I'm going to try and learn how to do it in nature. Unfortunately, when you're dealing with this sort of scale, some of these tools I'm using don't quite cut mustard. It might be my perfectionist coming through, but I look at these tools and I think they're too big. Now, it might be just a case I just need to make some smaller sculptures. Excuse me. Not small sculptures, sorry. Smaller tools. Or it might be a case of that what I need to do is find a different wire. Because the stuff that I'm using is guitar strings. But what I do know I need to do is perfect some of my sculpting techniques, and sometimes that means a tool to do a different job. There's a guy that I've seen in the States. What was his name again? Ken's Tools. And he makes a lot of hand tools. Handmade tools, sorry. And one of the things that he makes is what is effectively a free roaming wire sculpture. I keep saying the word sculpture, I do apologize. A free roaming sculpting tool. But what it does is, rather than just draws three parallel lines going straight down, what it does is it seeks the weakest paths. So rather than going in a straight line, he'll effectively just draw this random, unrehearsed line going straight through your sculpture. And the thing with that is that that's great for things like your wrinkles and your veining. In some instances, your texture. I do need to get hold of one, but I just want to double check with you first in terms of like how small we can get it. Because if you can get it to sort of like this sort of size, then great. But if you can't get it any smaller, that the biggest sculpture I can work on with it is so big, then there's probably not much point in me pursuing it anymore. But I've not had the time lately to send me a response email back. He sent me the message across, and I just can't touch base with him on an email saying we were talking on Instagram. But that's about as far as it got, unfortunately. I got through to the that's a recent message that when someone's message to me, when there's an old message that I've seen. These messages, requests. Nothing nothing red. How very odd. Something I've already read. That's better. Starting to look quite. I would imagine a big size door. Oh, God, to get a drink. Sorry, guys, I'm yawning too much. I have no idea what's wrong with me. Right, so shall we leave this with you for a moment? Should be back in a couple of minutes. Just get myself a drink. And it leads back to front. That's not helpful. sorry about that. Really need to drink something. I don't know what the hell it is. No, what's up with it? On all the occasions I have this sort of like sudden tiredness is when I was working last year. Was it last year? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Right. Last year when I was doing this Jurassic June, I was doing wire sculptures, and what I would do is because I was working in Manchester for the Chuck Seal film. At the time I was living in near Blackpool in the UK, and to get from Blackpool to Manchester for 9 o'clock in the morning, you would have to get up at 5 o'clock to get the 6 o'clock train. From there, it would then get you to Manchester for about 8:30, and then I would literally get in through the doors of the office for 9 o'clock. And then I'd be working till 6, and then from 6 it wouldn't take me till 9 o'clock at night to get home. From 9 o'clock I was then having the tea, and then at 10 I would literally start sculpting, and I would do this sculpting up until maybe 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and then I was up again at 5. So that I can understand that I would get this like sudden urge to sleep because I'm barely sleeping as it is, but like I'm working myself overdrive. You know, these sketches are taking me about maybe somewhere between 4 to 7 hours a day, so it's not like I'm asking a great deal of my time to do them. Just for some reason at the moment, I'm just coming out really want a tight spot. Let's see how that goes. Right, okay, where was I? I was working on. I wasn't had a bit more. So yeah, August, me and the girlfriend are going to a cat cafe in Manchester. And if you've never heard of a cat cafe, it's basically exactly what it says on the tin. It's a cafe run by insanely human cats. Yeah, it's sort of like I think the best way to probably describe it actually is it's almost like a therapy centre. You book yourself an hour to go into this cafe, and they have house cats that are free roaming and residential to the cafe. And a very intricate system for getting in and out of the building to make sure the animals don't escape, which I don't think they would do because the amount. But the idea is that you're able to go down there, talk with complete strangers, cuddle cats, and you get free tea and coffee, but you have to pay for your meals, which by the sounds of it, it's probably more kind of like sandwiches and soups and that sort of thing. I don't think they're going to pay you anything like a 4-course meal, because let's face it, with the amount of cats running around, I won't be surprised if there was going to be like a ball rolling around somewhere in the kitchen. Well, the interesting thing that the doctor was telling me is that they don't actually lock the cats up. They have volunteers come stay down at the property overnight, and then they'll got the business the next morning, which was quite interesting. That won't surprise me if your girlfriend wants to try and get a job there. I ain't got a problem with cats personally. I think cats are just as sweet and loving as dogs, but I prefer the attention that you get off dogs than I do off cats, because unfortunately cats, I found when I tried to approach them, is they want you to approach them, they'll let you, but if they're really not a people person, they will hiss, bite and scratch, whereas most dogs that I found, unless they've been trained to be aggressive, tend to be quite loving and approachable regardless of what breed and age. So I'm more of a dog person myself, but we have had a debate or two in the household of if we're going to get a cat, whether it should be an indoor cat or an outdoor cat. So I personally, although I love cats, I don't think it's right to allow them to go outside, because there's that many cats out there as it is. They're doing an extensive amount of damage to the environment in terms of like bird and rodent populations. I mean, cats on farms, that's fine. I ain't got a problem with them because they're actually doing a service to the farm. Whereas domestic cats in rural areas, they're killing endangered garden birds, which is not great. If they were killing pest birds like pigeons, I wouldn't have a problem with that, but they never do. They always kill the tits and the jays and the sparrows and every other kind of like bird you actually enjoy watching in the park. So yeah, so that'll be for her birthday and sort of my birthday as well. Both our birthdays in August. As soon as she heard the place was open, she was like, I'm doing that for your birthday. I've been more than happy to come along with her, because to see her happy makes me happy. To see her in her element, sitting around the cats, is yeah, it makes me happy. So, and then after that, I think it's the 2nd or 3rd week of August. There's film festival, Starburst Magazine Film Festival, and they are going to have the trustees from the Ray Harryhausen Foundation going down. So John Walsh and Connor Healy, and I believe I think it's this is going to be really bad if I can't learn this for the actual day. Carolyn Monroe, I think it is. Or Carolyn Monroe. Where's the name? Where's the name? Yes, Carolyn Monroe. That's the one. I was right. Yeah, so she'll be going down. So should make for interesting conversation if I get a chance to actually sit down and have a chat with her. Because she, for me, was always my favourite princess. The first princess in the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad always felt a bit too childlike, bubbly cheeks, and although she did some fantastic acting as an actress, I don't know, I just didn't quite get drawn into her performance. I was more drawn into Sinbad's performance, Kurt Matthews, than I was the princess in that film. And the other princess in Eye of the Tiger, again, I liked her, but I don't know. It might have been the hair, the way that she was introduced with the hair in Sinbad's appearance, but there was just something about her personality that I didn't gel with. Again, I felt more drawn towards other cast members than her. Although, to be honest, I think she had the better outfit out of all of them. But for me, Carolyn Monroe was always my personal favourite. If you could have taken Kurt Matthews' Sinbad, Carolyn Monroe's Princess, probably Tom Baker as the villain, and Minotaur as the minion, I probably would have watched that quite happily. But, you know, each of their own. Everyone's got a favourite. Sometimes they don't always live up to expectations for the role, but you know, can't please everyone. It's not about that. So if you please everyone, then there won't be any diversity. Feels like an actual there's a jaw under there. So, what else to do with you? Squared on the seat. It's not just the front and inside the jaw. sometimes in those websites can be a bit frustrating afterwards. So one thing I've always seen renderings of this animal is that it's always unarmored. It's there's no evidence, from what I can tell from fossils that have been around, that this guy has ever had any kind of like armored plates or anything. What I'll probably do is I might actually stick some kind of skin structure to it. So not necessarily anything like like armor plating per se, but just kind of like bumps and warts, if you will. Not necessarily the right term I want to use, but I don't want to use rigid patterns together. As soon as the sketches, again, as I say, it's a concept piece that I can work on. Look back in. So, trying to think of now is what sort of pattern we do. So for quite early on, I don't think we would have anything in the way of actual range. I don't think this was related in the Triassic. So they would have had anything that would be anything similar to like that of a dinosaur sauropod, wouldn't it? I think their skin impressions are quite specific and unique compared to what I'm saying in the theropod. Small. I wasn't trying to go for fish scales per se, but something that's similar. Sort of look. Right, look. one thing that I do like to kind of like theorize is that although dinosaurs are descendants from Indian and Chilean ancestry, I like to think as well that there's a little bit of mammalian in there as well. But what I also like to think is that the ear canals didn't develop until sound really came into kind of their vocalization, communication. So Platosaurus, I would imagine, probably didn't have that evolved in ear canal. Probably not until they started further evolving more into kind of like your herbivores that you more recognise with like sauropods and your herbivores. Let's try and get some good scales on. I don't think I'm actually that far from finishing on this because it's quite a simple skull feature. There's no sort of like reason to think there could be anything more to go with this personally. I might stick some features on this, but I'm not sure. This is the other side of it there. Like canvas like this, isn't it? You literally could do anything to it and it could easily ruin it. Like I say with the ceratopsians, because you've got the horns and the neck frills and the cheekbones and everything, you've got a lot to play around with. You can do all sorts of stuff to kind of like orientate it to make it decorative. Whereas when you get simple skull structures like the platosaur, it almost feels like you're taking too much of a gamble because it's just a plain skull. And not there's anything wrong with that, you know. There's plenty of good reasons to take a gamble on something. It could work, it could not, but sometimes it's a tricky one, really tricky one. I think I will try this. String scales just going down the center of the skull. No idea if this is actually going to work, but so let's see how it should. room is, or given a new dimension. Really making it small and things, almost to the point where it looks like it's scabs of armor or also spines. Not too bad. Look, that's a fun fight now. Two things. One that I'm very concentrating on financing these little studs, and also because probably that stuff to say, which is a shame because I was really trying to keep something going so it can pop in the conversation. I don't think the Google Hangouts is as used as it used to be. That is probably the way that many of you post these things. Which is a shame because accidentally there's like 100 odd people on Periscope. Is this to getting maybe the equivalent of 10 to 15 people maximum? Which isn't a great deal of numbers, really. Oh, that concentration needs to take it. Actually, I can go cross there. It still goes further ahead and just kind of do something. Going down the neck. Probably the only problem with one side, actually, for that matter, because you're not going to be able to see it from the other side of the landscape. So. Right, well, I think that is going to be. Oh no, hang on, I'll tell you what I haven't done. I'll tell you what I've not done. Maybe something looks a bit off about it, but too smooth. Not sure about that. Forward, just kind of like a sloping skin. Some beads on the neck, and I think that's that done. Dated. Interesting. Someone's just followed me on Twitter, and they have an app on their phone so that they can film a location and have a CG dinosaur in there. Interesting. That's what people's things with dinosaurs have got to these days. Not that I'm complaining, as long as people got an interest in dinosaurs. It's doing this the old days where people actually make sculptures of their own dinosaurs and what have you, and show their appreciation for that. But I'm just being old. 32 years young, as they say. Right, so there we have it. One Platosaur converted from a Stegosaur bust. Not that much to do on it, unfortunately, but it was enough to kind of like for me to do stuff to it. So yeah, get some photos of this guy done and stick him on Twitter. So if you've only just come onto this, I might as well end up on the where you can find me. You can find me on Twitter at Mike Farm. You can find me on Instagram as MLFarm. And where else? Well, if you look on Facebook, you might be able to find my crafting page, 3 Arm Creations. So that's the number 3 Arm Creations. And yeah, and plus my YouTube channel as well, where I'm trying to do more video work and hopefully there's some more updates on the stop motion projects in the near future. Fingers crossed. So thanks very much for popping in, for those of you that have come in and out of the video whilst I've been broadcasting live, and hope you appreciate the Platosaur, and let's see what tomorrow's poll vote is taken under for Jurassic June. So I shall speak to you all tomorrow. Take care now.